We got to start with the big report last night that Andy Reid could be looking to step down as the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs after this season. Now, it's not quite a bombshell report. We do hear, almost yearly, could Andy Reid retire? Is this the year he walks away? Andy Reid, of course, has had an unbelievable career. First in Philadelphia, just dominating there, taking them to a Super Bowl, and now going to Kansas City and pairing with Patrick Mahomes to form really a great 1-2 punch. They have had a dynastic run here. You go to 5 straight conference championship games. You win 2 Super Bowls. That's a dynasty, folks. And we know that the league is set up for parity. The NFL does not want dynasties. They structure it salary cap wise, everything, so that parity reigns, so that everybody walks into every season with a chance, which is great, except for my Jets, of course, who never seemingly have a chance. Andy Reid turned 66 in March. And I started looking at the Chiefs, and I'm like, well, interesting year. If you want to be glass half full, Jason, and I do like to be positive occasionally, you could say, well, they were 1 or 2 plays away from going from 11 wins to 13. They got some unlucky calls against them. They had a couple drops, led the league in drops, that if the things go the other way, Kansas City is right back at the 1 seed. And this is much ado about nothing, and we're still talking about the dynasty rolling on. But you know the phrase, nothing lasts forever, folks. And you start to dig into Kansas City, and you're like, oh boy, there are some warning signs here that things may go awry sooner than later. Well, you could start with this weekend's game. It's the first road game for Mahomes and Reid in the playoffs. Everything else has been at home. And you're like, well, how does that happen? Well, I don't know. You kind of look at the roster, and you see, okay, Mahomes got paid, and wait a minute, does his salary cap? Oh, yeah, his cap hit goes up $20 million next year. This idea that they're going to be able to refurbish things quickly on the fly, that could be difficult. Let me take a look at the free agents for next year. Okay, the Chiefs, oh boy, Spot Track, which tracks all the salary cap stuff, has the Chiefs with 7 starters heading into free agency this offseason, led, of course, by Chris Jones, who had an acrimonious offseason with KC. He missed the opener against Detroit. Jones wants to get paid. Chiefs are drawing a line in the sand. It looks like Chris Jones will probably be elsewhere next season. You look at their great cornerback, L'Jarius Sneed. He kind of bullied Tyreek Hill last week. I'm sure you remember him. Sneed is fantastic. Somebody's going to pay him. Left tackle Donovan Smith, and you're like, oh boy, KC kind of has some issues. And then you look at the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick Mahomes. Wow, he had a terrible year. Wait, no. Patrick Mahomes had the worst season of his NFL career by any statistical measure you want to look at. And I know that's a tough thing to say. Mahomes is an unbelievable talent. Everybody loves him. He's in a billion commercials. He's clearly already a Hall of Famer. He's got the MVPs, the Super Bowl MVPs. The guy he's unbelievable. But as we know, it's tough to stay on top forever. And if you want to look at yards per attempt, I mean, heck, I'll save some of this for the second hour, but folks, go look at the deep ball passing of Patrick Mahomes this season. Pro Football Focus had him as one of the worst deep ball passers in the league. 1 touchdown, 6 picks. I mean, C.J. Stroud was miles better than Mahomes on the deep ball. Brock Purdy, don't even mention it. Brock Purdy's deep ball passing this year was great. So what's wrong with the Chiefs? It can't just be the drops. Is it that Travis Kelce's getting up there in age? He's 34, starting to show signs of decline. I like the Chiefs this weekend. I think Kelce will dominate the Bills and their backup linebackers. We'll see the injury report later. But you start to look at this Reid report, and then you dig into Kansas City, and you're like, geez, nothing does last forever. Maybe there's a chance that Reid just says, you know what? I had a good run. I want to go retire. I don't need the drama of having to cycle through coordinators every offseason. Hey, Matt Nagy, is he coming back? It has not looked pretty. He had Bieniemy last year. Bieniemy then goes to Washington. And it's just, you start to wonder, is this maybe the end of the Chiefs dynasty? You have Reid and Mahomes, you're set. Well, what if Reid walks away? And that's why I want to talk about kind of the reinvention of teams. If you look at Brady and his run in New England, Brady and Belichick constantly were reinventing themselves. If you follow music, tech, heck, NBA basketball players, you constantly have to be reinventing yourself. Remember, The Patriots went from winning with defense and running with Corey Dillon, and then, we're going to bring on Randy Moss. P.S. There's not a Randy Moss out there for Patrick Mahomes to grab and turn into a 50-touchdown wizard like Brady did. And then the Patriots said, we'll go with slot receivers, Edelman, Welker. And then we'll go with the 2 tight ends, Gronk and Hernandez. Like, the Patriots constantly reinvented themselves. Can Kansas City do that, folks? I don't know. And this weekend's game against Buffalo, they are underdogs. I'm on the Chiefs, but folks, the warning signs are there. If Andy Reid walks away, all of a sudden, AFC wide open for the next 5 or 6 years. Now, I want to pivot to the Baltimore Ravens and my guy, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's been unbelievable this season. Not quite as consistent as you like. He's going to win the MVP. But a lot of that's because they're the best team in the league. Record-wise, the defense has been incredible. But you start to look closely at Lamar Jackson, you're like, did have 5 games under 200 yards passing. Not great. Not ideal. But nevertheless, we got Lamar. We're rested. We're facing a Houston team that we're probably going to crush them, right? 9.5-point favorites. I like the Ravens more than any other side this weekend. I took them in the first half. I think they roll here. They've got a defensive coordinator in Mike McDonald, man. That guy shut down 2 Shanahan tree offenses. The Dolphins and Shanahan and the 49ers. What do you think he's going to do to Slowick, another Shanahan disciple, this weekend? Baltimore's going to be fine, right? And you get to Lamar's playoff history. And you kind of have to do this. You have to dig in and say, Lamar 1-3 in the playoffs? We got some stats here that are not pretty. Look away, Ravens fans. It's a small sample size. I get it. Regular season's, my elementary math, 77 games versus 4. But look at those numbers. Dropping your passer rating by almost 30 points? Now, it is small sample size. And you're like, all right, well, let's look into those games. Yeah, you remember the Chargers game? His first playoff game. He started like half the season. Throw that out the window. Come on, forget it. They just faced the Chargers, I think the week prior or 2 weeks prior. They were ready. All right, well, what about Brock Purdy last year? He was a rookie who started half the season, came in and slayed for 2 games. Like, okay, all right, fine. Let's go on to Lamar. The Tennessee game, when they were the number 1 seed, Lamar was the MVP of the NFL. What happened in that one? Lamar had 500 yards of offense. Jay, what's the... 2 interceptions, including one on the first drive. And he had a fumble, too. And in every high-leverage play, 4th downs, Lamar kind of failed. I was like, okay, all right. Well, he did get the playoff win the next time against Tennessee. Yeah, he did. And then he went to Buffalo. And I remember this game like it was yesterday because I bet Lamar Jackson in that one. And it's a close game, and you're inside the 5-yard line, and Lamar made a really, really bad decision and throws a 100-yard pick six. Game over. And it's like, okay. Lamar's had some playoff struggles. Well, he's a dual-threat guy. Cam. Dual-threat quarterback. My guy Mike Vick, who loves to come on the show. You start looking at the history of dual-threat quarterbacks in the playoffs. Not ideal. 2 dual-threat quarterbacks have won Super Bowls in the last 40 years. Now, some people want to call Patrick Mahomes a dual threat. He's not. He's never had a 400-yard rushing season, guys. Come on. Russell Wilson, that's a dual threat quarterback. Steve Young, dual threat quarterback. A lot of the others, they've had some postseason struggles. Is it because defenses are more ready? Do the running quarterbacks want to tuck and run at the first sign of trouble? I don't know. But then you start to look at the Ravens and you're like, well, they should cruise, Jay. You said you bet them. You're on them this weekend. Yeah. But I do kind of worry about Lamar Jackson in this game. And I think it's understandable. I love the defensive coordinator and what they've got. I think they'll cook up some stuff to slow down Stroud. But you have to wonder, is there more pressure on any other quarterback in this postseason than Lamar Jackson? A lot of people want to say Josh Allen, which is fine. Josh Allen basically put the Bills on his back this season and dragged that MASH unit to the playoffs. But I don't know. I look at Lamar. He's got great weapons. Zay Flowers healthy. Mark Andrews back. They should be fine, right? Right? Just got to wonder, those dual-threat quarterbacks in the postseason, Lamar has 1 playoff win. Brock Purdy has 2. Cam Newton, how many does Cam? Oh, Cam has 3. 3 playoff wins in his career. We'll do Cam. I know Cam after me. We'll do that a little later in the show. But I've got to wonder, Lamar Jackson, going to sleep before the game. Is he nervous? What's the mindset? He got paid, right? He's the number 1 seed. No pressure or all the pressure?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.